Hi Sagittarius, welcome to my channel. This reading is for February 2024. You can watch it whenever you feel called to watch it. I have 3 decks for this video. The first one is the Slavic Legends Tarot. I love this deck. I have the Power of the Runes in card form. And if you've been on my channel, you may have seen this deck. It's the Healing with the Fairies Oracle cards. So I'll pull out a card, give my message, and I'll read the message that they have in the book. I haven't pulled out any of the cards yet. I did get the word waiting. And there's also a little bit of a hesitation there when I said that. Like a stutter. And then the icon at the bottom of my screen that says the weather forecast. The cloud is standing out to me. I don't usually say that. Then it says light rain, and it's at 44 degrees. So I feel like this is coming out at a good time. 44 for me is usually the angel number that I have. I even have 44 here. And it feels like it is this is a specific time. It feels like it's a marking time, like a saving time. You know, when you play video games and to save your place in the game, you save it. So when you get back to it, you're going to that specific point and you're not going to previous parts that you already finished and accomplished. Maybe something happened that was pretty vital. I'm also getting lifting the band-aid too, and slight rain can be maybe uh, a way of saying that it wasn't the best of news, it wasn't the worst of news, but the news was important because it gave me the indication, or the other person the indication that this was going on. Maybe there was like an open communication. I'm not getting so much communication as if there wasn't a lot said, but what was said was important for it to maybe jumpstart the next cycle. Um, Maybe some things were brought up that was bothering the other person, and then it was finally revealed. Because so many times we go through relationships or any type of it doesn't need to be an intimate relationship. It could even be with work too, where something is concerning or it makes us feel a certain way, but we don't bring it up. It could be out of inconvenience. It could be because we feel like the other person needs should already know this because to you it's common sense of why this should be bothering you, when in reality the other person may not even notice it. And it could be a type of communication where one person communicates differently than another, and there are definitely a lot of types of personality. Wherever you go, there's always like maybe a personality trait that you aren't familiar with, and it just kind of makes you the word that I'm coming with, the word that's coming to mind is humbling, because I feel as you get older or as you go through life and with these types of experiences and a lot of things in general, when we experience things, when we're at a certain time in our life, sometimes we think we know everything. And I, I feel like life humbles you, where we realize that I am acting like this is this is the reality, when the reality is so much different than what meets the eye. And when life brings it up to you and other people bring it up to you, it really makes you think and rethink about the past and the present and what we're going to do for the future. So there are a couple of oracle cards for this video. I'll read one of the main cards. So, in such a watery card that you have for the room too, turn over all the cards now. Sorry. So for the room, we have the goose, and you could see the water, and it feels like more of subconscious energy because it is as if this information resurfaced. Um, Sometimes we need to ask or we won't know. And that's kind of how it feels like in this reading because when you look at the water and it looks in general for the most, well, in general, that it seems pretty clear if you're thinking about the ocean. And when you look deeper into the depths of the water, it you can't see because there's less and less light penetrating and it's dark and you would have to swim back up not only for air but to see. I think that it's hard for us to stay in that state of not knowing, because humans are always so curious and wanting to find those things in life to help validate us in a life where it seems like some things in life make sense and then other things don't. And once you figure out those things that don't, then there's even more things that don't make sense too until you get to that point in your life. So the extra card is the Seven of Swords, which is interesting. A lot of watery energy that you get from this reading, and even a little bit of swords too, because there has been like a revelation because it kind of set things straight. It set things in a balance. Um, Temperance is another type of balance if you see it like that in this card. And you see that there looks like the spirit of the forest or uh, like a deer. It took me a while because just revealing those secrets, it reminds me of the legends of how humans, we were a young species, and there were all the other animals in the animal kingdom, and we were revealed some secrets of the earth, but we were young and we weren't able to articulate it. We didn't know what to do with that information, and in some cases, we used it in a malicious way. So we were forced into what would have been extinction because some of us were left, and they say some, like you could see some of the animal traits in the people still because if they were intertwined. So with the information, it's as if life's asking you now, and it needs an answer because it's at the saving point of this part of your life, and you saved this point, so you can't go back. Can't go back. And now you can only go forward. So what are you going to do? Because the karmic extra card, because I have a couple, like my cat's going to jump up, is the judgment. And the judgment can be related to revelations. It can be related to something that feels almost apocalyptic, almost um, something that erases the past in a way, but then we remember what it was so we can continue on. How will we use this information? Another major arcana, you have the Strength card, the Temperance is major arcana, Judgment is major arcana. Judgment is a pivotal moment where we realize that what we've done impacts what we do from this moment on. With the Chariot in the past, it feels like a sense of confusion. Um, it feels like there wasn't uh, that much direction. This could have been in a relationship. I am mainly getting it to be a relationship reading, but it could be the way that we live our life in general and the way that our actions speak louder than what we could tell at that moment. You have the Ten of Coins and the Five of Swords. So this could also be influences, it could be family ties on the actions that were made that affect now us in the present because we're in it, but also the repercussions that it could have had for the future. because now it feels like a timeline has kind of made itself. Oh, there's an awareness now. And with the overall energy being the Page of Swords, it feels like things were being set straight. With the Page of Swords, it isn't so harsh as the past with the Five of Swords, because the Five of Swords feels like you're hurting somebody, and it's, even if it might not be super intentional, um, something could have gotten out of hand with an argument. And you know the thing that might piss the other person off the most. You just know that those specific things, if there's multiple, and you just either you say it, or there was like such a reaction to it being longer than what it should have, to a point where this really could have done a lot of damage. Um, because it seems as if it was it was those comments, those actions that really could have changed the trajectory completely of what this is, what this could be, and what you're looking for out of this. Underlying card is the Hierophant, which is out of from saying all that, and it goes to the Hierophant. There is still a sense of loyalty here. There's a sense of um, there there feels like something mutual, as if maybe both parties were like, yeah, I'm really sorry I said that about you. I know, like, it would anger you, and I said it, and I can't really take it back at this point. And that's one of the things, because um even though they're words, and over time I feel like a lot of things help you develop a backbone. Needless to say, it's not completely the point of it. The point of it is we don't need to, just because we're in pain or we're upset, doesn't mean we spread our pain. It's almost like a fire that's out of control. And with Sagittarius, um, there's a sense of focus too, because of the bow and arrow, and really focusing on certain things. On the other hand, you could also um, put that focus on things that may not be necessary or may not be of the best interest for this. And in this case, the Five of Swords, those types of arguments that honestly sometimes make you not talk to the other person again, because it was just like, damn, they really went that far with this. Like, they knew it was going to piss me off and they did it anyway. Um, I mean, it's set pretty solid with the Hierophant, and I feel like it really does say something for this too. The Mine card is the Six of Cups. I feel like you or this other person, it could be both, um, that there's just a pureness to it. That deep down, um, one of you or both of you can look at this and say, that was messed up, but I know that at that moment that was just in the moment type of situation. And it really depends on, you know, the situation and the relationship and the consistency of it, of this, that, and the third, of what's consistent and what's not consistent in it. If these types of arguments are, or if it's more of a overall balanced or um, pretty happy dynamic in general. Also, with the Hierophant card, it's not that surprising with the Sagittarius. Um, it is really showing there's a loyalty in this reading, and that really goes with the sign of Sagittarius too. So the immediate future is the Three of Coins. This is pretty. Mm, this feels like uh, a relationship that can go pretty far because with the Three of Coins, it's a card of teamwork and working on things and development. So for you to grab your tools and to really chip away at these things that need to be addressed, because if there isn't, there might be another Five of Swords moment that could change the timeline even more with the Ten of Coins. Ten of Coins, it looks like there has been something established here at some point. I say that because with the Six of Cups there, it could have been something of the past where maybe you had something and then there was an argument and something happened to where it changed where you were in the relationship. But again, with the saved part of the game, and don't need to be a game, you're going where you left off and seeing how you can move forward from there. With the karmic card, the main one that came out is the Four of Coins, which can be seen as a card of stability. Fours are foundational cards. And the Four of Pentacles, that's the immediate future, the Three of Coins to the Four of Coins, which is the karma. Seems pretty soon with it too, so it does seem like there is the karma card being shown sooner in the reading. So I would say if this is a general reading, things are happening more in real time at the point where you're watching it. Of all the riches there, it doesn't need to be physical wealth, but the abundance of what you feel this relationship brings to you. And going with the Hierophant card, and it could be one since it is more on the spiritual side, more of the traditional side. It can be like a marriage or something that leads towards a marriage. And I wouldn't be surprised because, based off of these actions of what I'm seeing in the reading, it's like these people are working things out if they choose to. And I say choose to just because with the strength of how are you going to use the energy, or since the energy rebalanced, where will you go with it with the judgment card? And I say that because with the karma cards and the extra cards that I just pull out of the reading, I got three knights in here. So this is the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. So these could be different aspects of what the Three of Coins is, with it being working on things. And these, maybe at this point, it is more of a knight's energy of this reading because of making improvements. So you have all these aspects of the knights, and then moving forward, um, having a higher status. And that could be a status of the relationship, and oneself is also really important. When you go into these things, we work on ourselves, and it's a natural process to change over time in different ways. And of course, it's it's different in every situation. It's also important to know that we don't need to go into the relationship thinking the other person needs to change, because that would be conditional. But it doesn't seem like this is conditional. It seems actually pretty pure with pure intentions, which is good. Another extra card you have is the Eight of Cups. So, with what you do with the information on whichever side that you are for this reading, it could be working on yourself or the other person working on themselves. Either way, it feels like both of you guys are. The other point of it um, is the Five of Swords going to break this? Because the Eight of Cups, it could be, but what are you leaving behind? Is it still worth it to you to maintain? Because with the cups hanging around in there, and then there's a waterfall, there could be mixed emotions. And these nights, since there are multiple, it could be moving on. So I do see for a lot of people, though, it is working on things with the energy that I really get from the Three of Coins. Otherwise, it could be working on yourself too. It is more of a preoccupied energy. The threes tend to be where, with a lot of things happening. Another thing too is if you're looking at it where that argument really sets the new path forward, based off of what you've been through. So whatever it was pretty close to maybe seeing who else might be there down the line. Then the environment card, you have the Nine of Coins. For this, the Nine of Coins, for this reading, it feels like if, well, I do compounding in a pharmacy, and one of the things I say when I am in the lab, or if I am talking to somebody about how to do a compound, I say that it's important to do the compound correctly. It's also important to know what to do when it doesn't go completely to plan. And that's what the Nine of Coins feels like, because the Nine of Coins is an established person. It's a person that has experience. Specifically in this area, since we're talking about relationships, this person could have seen many things happen, and based off of what has happened has really made them the person that they are. And considering it's the Nine of Coins, it feels like the right choices were made. Again, not spreading pain. I think the best thing that we can do moving forward is to make a good living for ourselves, be the best that we can be for ourselves. And also a point of the the only competition is yourself. So if you're the best version of yourself, you're the best. So that's what the Nine of Coins feels like in this reading. The hopes or fears, the Nine of Swords. Some things, I feel like going back to the Five of Swords, some things really bother you. And even if it was just an argument, but it could also have been like actions that were that the other person that they did that affected you in a way because it wasn't in the interest of the relationship. It it was as if the I'm getting like something wasn't set, as if maybe the relationship wasn't established, and yet it was established. And the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords. It does feel like the hopes or fears that the things that have happened in the past would still affect you in a way where they're where you don't really let go of them in a healthy way, where we try to um, transmute, or I say that where it's almost as if refocusing, retraining, or disciplining, because there's a sense of consistency to get to the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is not uh, an easy card because you see that she is at the age that she's at and she's carrying these things, and maybe we get comfortable with the uncomfortable, comfortable with things that maybe aren't healthy. But since we don't feel comfortable with what's healthy, we don't know what is necessarily healthy, specifically in relationships for this reading, then it's not something that we always welcome in because it's not the norm to us. So we keep bringing in things that are not not good, um, and maybe concerning too, because we go through these types of dynamics, and it's as if it's more of a struggle than it is beneficial to you. So the tens go to the nines, but this position specifically is hopes or fears. So it's not really a position that's really as as concrete as the other ones because this is a general reading, and again, based off of what you do, can really change timelines. And with the for the future, you get the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, it does feel like there's a struggle. Sometimes it's a struggle to keep going. So with this Nine of Wands, I would be weary about being comfortable again with things that aren't healthy for us. But we're so used to it that we accept it in our lives. And that's something where experience teaches us and why we keep getting into these dynamics consistently. Because it doesn't seem like it's the first time you've seen this, the first time where you've experienced this, the first time where it feels like there's so many highs and lows. Why can't it be steadier? Is it this specific relationship and the types that you're bringing in, the types of reactions that you have? What's not changing? Because the Nine of Wands, he keeps going, but he is getting tired. And it feels almost fight or flight because he's seen so many things that now it feels like there's barriers. Um any which way he turns is gonna give him a reaction, maybe anxiety or feeling like he has to have his guard up because he remembers those Five of Swords moments. I would say in the extra cards, I did pull out a couple, is the Five of Wands, which, not to downplay it, but the Five of Wands, it feels as if those types of things will diminish a little by little, and stuff can always be brought up, resurfaced, or life happens. but it's how we react and how we move forward, because it does seem like a solid step forward, because you also have for the further future the Ace of Coins, and that does seem pretty solid. And with a lot of pentacles in here too, this could be a solid offer, a solid path that we can follow. The the path looks like maybe like the yellow brick road, or it looks like a sidewalk or something that we could see that is more clear than what we not may not have seen in the past. You get the Page of Cups. This feels this is it feels like freshness, as if you're near water, and the the air is just different. There's something different about it. Then you have the Nine of Cups, which is great because with the Page of Cups and the Ace of Coins, something that you've been waiting for. And you have the World, because in one of the extra cards in the karmic position was the Judgment card, or is the Judgment card, and the World. After you make that choice, this is what you're left with. And it almost feels like expansion of different possibilities after making that choice, because it feels different than the choices that you've made in the past. Again, not every choice is completely different, because there is this mystical thought of us, especially when we move forward in life and maybe we change locations, or we have a different person in our life, and we think all these things that we're going to do, or all these things that will change. And just because we're in a new location, or we're in a different relationship, or um like a location, a different job, that life is going to magically change completely than what we've ever experienced before. And it's almost like we left ourselves behind, when that's the main person that should be moving forward, is ourselves. So the page, it's the Hermit. And the Hermit, sometimes, getting deep in thought, but a lot of times the Hermit is on this quest to, one might say, a quest to some type of enlightenment, the knowledge that he gains and he puts work towards, because it is associated with Virgo, going inwards, but going on a path. And it seems like this path is something that is more substantial than what you've had before. If this is moving forward in the existing relationship, I think it will be a super fruitful relationship. I think that this one is one that I'm really confident in, because there is a sense um, of change. Change is really important, and constantly um, trying to make the best out of what is there, if we can. And if something that we do isn't working, then we change, and we change. And that's what makes it so special, and and fulfilling. So the extra cards today, well, I got a couple of cards for oracle. So the first two I thought were interesting because they're both expressive. So it's making music and sexuality. And then it's vacation, parenting and children, and be honest with yourself. So with the vacation, it feels a little bit holding back, but also thinking about a reaction when you have parenting and children and seeing things for what they are, seeing the potential, and seeing if something needs to change and in what way. Are we going to continue with this, or are we going to completely make a different decision that, again, changes the situation completely? I'm going to read Be Honest with Yourself. Card meaning this card indicates that you're hiding your true feelings and aren't being forthright about an important topic. The fairies urge you to admit your true feelings to yourself. Do you feel stuck, depressed, tired, angry, or irritable? These are symptoms that arise when we aren't honest with ourselves, when we're dishonest with ourselves. Maybe you feel that you can't afford to be honest with yourself and that you have to and that you don't have a choice. This card isn't asking you to make any radical life changes or have confrontation with another person. However, it is urging you to admit your true feelings to yourself. One easy way to get in touch with your true feelings is going outside and engaging in a silent conversation with the fairies who live amidst the flowers, trees, and grass. Even if you can't see or hear the fairies, mentally you can hear them. Um, Tell them everything you're thinking, feeling, and experiencing these days. Ask them to help you get in touch with your deepest feelings. The fairies love to hold a mirror up to us so that we can see and admit the truth. It's safe for me to be honest with myself and others. I speak my truth with love. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.